Patricia Benner. She's quite the philosophical woman, and her theories too. Well, you've never heard of Patricia Benner? Well, how lovely! Let me tell you all about her. Patricia Benner was born in Hampton, Virginia in 1942. She began her academic career in Pasadena College and received her Bachelor Arts degree and nursing degree in 1964. Patricia became interested in nursing due to her employment as a unit clerk at St. Luke's Hospital during her schooling at Pasadena College. Patricia went on to earn her master's degree in nursing in 1970 from the University of California, San Francisco School of Nursing, focusing on med-surg nursing. Patricia went on then to marry the love of her life, Richard Benner, in August 1967. Richard, also an academic, and his study of situational leadership put a profound effect on understanding of practice. In 1973, she had her son and then a daughter in 1981. Benner began her research career as a postgraduate and continued on to a PhD in stress, coping, and health, which was completed in 1982 in the same University of California, Berkeley, and then went on to publish her dissertation in 1984, From Novice to Expert. After Patricia's dissertation in 1989, she began a tenured professor at University of California, San Francisco, in the Department of Psychological Nursing. In 2002, Patricia moved on to the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences and became first representative to hold the Thelma Schob Endowed Chair in Ethics and Spirituality at the University of California, San Francisco. Patricia still held this position until 2008. In 2004, Benner began to work as the director of the Carnegie Foundation's Preparation for the Professional Program. In 2010, Benner received the Presidency Award for Creativity and Innovation in Nursing Education. And in 2011, she was named one of the American Academy of Nursing's Living Legends, which is the highest honor bestowed by this organization. Oh, thanks for listening, but it's time for my favorite program, Nursing Theorist Daily. And guess who's on? Patricia Benner herself!
Hi everyone. Today on Nursing Theorist Daily, we have nursing theorist Patricia Benner, the author and creator of The Theory, Novice to Expert. For any new viewers to our show, you simply tweet in to @NursingTheoristDaily any questions that come up during the show, and we will try to get Patricia to answer as many questions as possible. Thank you for being with us today, Patricia. Are you ready for the questions?
Hi Jessie, Patricia here. So sorry I couldn't make it in person today, but I'm so honored to be part of your show. I think it's fantastic, and I'm really excited to hear from the viewers.
Our first question comes from Greg in Ontario. He tweets, Patricia, when did you decide you wanted to become a nurse?
Why I became a nurse? Well, Jessie, I came to it pretty late, actually. I was already in college, and I was very interested in sciences and missionary work. But I found that there wasn't really much demand for sciences within missionary work, so I decided that nursing would give me both opportunities. Once I started, I have to tell you, I absolutely fell in love with it. It had a good balance between the science and the human connection. I found the practice of nursing to be very rewarding.
Thank you for the question, Greg. So, Patricia, the next question comes from Marcy, a third-year nursing student in Vancouver. She asks, what first sparked your interest in the research that your theory is derived from? Great question, Marcy.
That's a very good question. Well, I'd have to say the clinical practice experience really influenced me because practical knowledge is important, but must be paired with theoretical knowledge, and if not, it can be very problematic. My time spent in the emergency department influenced my interest to research what nurses actually did in their practice, and, making that more visible, because I found that we lacked recognition in our profession, and, we needed improved education that involved more science and evidence-based practice. I found I also became very interested in teaching clinical judgment since it wasn't well described in the textbooks.
The next question comes from Daniel, a first-year nursing student from UBCO. He tweets, "Was there anyone in particular who inspired your work?"
Another good question, Jessie. Who inspired me? Well, I gotta tell you, that's a very long list, and I don't want to keep you here all day, but definitely Virginia Henderson. She was one of the main ones that greatly influenced my work. And while my novice to expert theory was actually based off of Stuart and Hubert Dreyfus's model of skill acquisition, but, there's many more. My work has been influenced by many brilliant philosophical theorists over the years.
That was a great one, Daniel. So, Patricia, we've had multiple tweets asking if you can explain your novice to expert theory.
Absolutely, Jessie. That would be my pleasure. Well, my novice to expert theory, it basically illustrates how expertise in nursing requires both theory, in other words, the know-how, as well as the understanding of the know-how through clinical experience. This occurs through the movement of 5 stages. The first of the 5 stages is the novice stage. This generally applies to nursing students. This individual has no previous experience of the situation. The person's performance is guided by context-free rules and objective attributes. The novice has a difficult time deciphering between relevant and irrelevant aspects of the situation. Moving on to the second, we have the advanced beginner. This usually applies to newly graduated nurses. So the advanced beginner demonstrates marginally acceptable performance, having coped with enough real situations, or has been guided by a mentor to identify reoccurring meaningful components. The advanced beginner has enough experience to grasp aspects of situation, but cannot be objectified completely because they still need more experience. Nurses at this level are guided by rules and orientated to task completion. They have a difficult time viewing situations with a larger perspective. To move from advanced beginner to competent, individuals will learn from their practice experiences and from the actions of others within the clinical setting. The competent stage. In this stage, individuals use conscious consideration and deliberate planning, which allows them to distinguish which aspects of situations are important and which are less important. This individual has increased efficiency, time management, and organization skills, but their focus is not timed to the patient's needs. This individual still utilizes evidence-based practice, but is also applying new rules and reasoning for procedures based on clinical experience. For the competent individual to progress to proficient, they must learn to take cues from situations to guide their responses. In the proficient stage, the individual perceives the situation holistically. They recognize the most pertinent aspects and have an intuitive understanding of the situation. This individual is driven by previous understanding based on clinical experiences. The proficient individual has a new ability to distinguish the changing aspects of a situation, including the recognition and implementation of skilled responses as they are required. This individual has increased self-reliance in their knowledge and ability. They are also more adapted to involving the patient's needs. Moving on to the expert stage, this individual has an intuitive grasp of problematic situations, such as cause of pain crisis, and is able to identify therapeutic options and a range of diagnoses in a timely manner. The expert is able to view the patient as a person, considering them holistically, rather than focusing in on particular needs. this individual is also able to predict response patterns when implementing therapeutic interventions in regards to patient needs. To advance through the levels of skill acquisition model, the individual must demonstrate changes in 4 aspects of skill performance. Firstly, the individual must move from reliance on context-free principles to the use of past experiences. The individual must shift from only relying upon the taught theory to the further integration of intuition. Thirdly, the individual must begin to view demand situations holistically, seeing a more complete situation with only certain parts being relevant, instead of seeing all components of a situation as equally relevant parts. Lastly, the individual must move from a place of detached observer to a position of full engagement within the situation. Well, I hope that clears it up for everybody, Jessie. I want to say again, it's been such an honor to be on your show. I watch this program every week, and I think it's just such a fantastic and informative program. So thank you for having me, and it's really been a pleasure.
Thank you again, Patricia, for calling in, and thank you to our viewers for the great questions today. Be sure to tweet in next week with our guest theorist, Jean Watson. Bye, everyone!